Present.
Bill Powell.
Present.
Manny Coble.
I haven't spoken to Commissioner Coble, so I assume she'll be here.
Ray Cruz.
Commissioner Cruz noted he would not be available today.
Scott Warren.
Here.
Dave Richards.
Here.
Next item, approval of the minutes of regular meeting of November the 20th and the working session meeting of November 18th.
I'd make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It's been, ayes have it, minutes accepted. Any public comments? Review of financial reports and list of bills.
As we discussed on Monday, the Housing Authority has a $7,000 net profit for the month and is operating at about $253,000 operating profit year to date. A lot of those savings have just been, due to some of our ability to save money, doing some of the things ourselves on the maintenance side, and also we do have some U of I grants we've been using, capital funds that have been reimbursing us for some of the expenses we've had during the year. In our two programs, the public housing program has about a $63,000 net profit for the month and a $744,000 net profit for the year. A lot of that money, however, will be utilized to do the expansion at the office over in Jericho Circle. So that number won't stay as large, but it will probably stay a pretty sizable number. We've been notified that we can use some capital funds for that as well. So some of that money for that expansion will actually be reimbursed to the agency. And Carlos has been working hard. I know he's not here today, working with some of our vendors to get some of the costs down. So we're not expecting to see the entire $600,000 budget spent on the office, but we still do expect to have a significant build out for that. In the Section 8 program, we had about a $5,000 net loss and a $105,000 net loss year to date. That's about what we've been holding the line since the year began. I think the first 2 months we ran up to $50,000 losses, and since then we've stabilized. We are doing one-for-one replacement in our Section 8 program now, so any voucher that becomes available is now being released, whereas before we were not releasing those vouchers. So we are now at least holding steady as far as the number of vouchers on the street. There was a question raised Monday regarding the list of bills in regards to the water expense. What we did actually, and the list of bills captures the bills that were literally paid in the course of a 30-day time period. So that included the October payment, which happened on 11/5, and the November payment, which happened on 11/24. Okay. So it just got two combined in there.
Thank you.
I got a question on the bills.
Yes, sir.
When we have large expenditure like the Maple Terrace, I'm trying to find the vendor that did the Maple Terrace.
The fire restoration?
Yeah. How's that process go when we is there a bidding process that's gone through? And
There are different levels of bidding process depending on the size of the contract. In this case, that's actually insurance reimbursed. So even though we are cutting the checks, that money will come back to us. So our insurance carrier actually sent over some of the vendors that we selected.
Okay, so that's a pass through then.
Yeah, but they're actually paying for it, so it doesn't have to meet some of the same bid requirements.
Clarification,
Mm-hmm.
and this is probably because I don't understand. Okay, the scattered sites,
Mm-hmm.
they gonna be voucher based?
Which ones?
The ones that Brimshaw's doing?
Yes.
Okay, so we only have so many left, right?
Well, we actually have a pretty good gap between where we actually are and our total availability, I think, and it's on the monthly report there. I think there are 860 or so, or 40 maybe, it might even be less.
It's like 67.
So see, 867 out of 880 out of 893. So the availability is there. We're 826 are leased, 893 are available.
Okay,
So there's plenty of room there to kind of build up there.
But those are not new vouchers.
No.
Those project-based vouchers are from within our existing.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I hear what you're saying. Now, just this vouchers on the lease, that means they already leased out.
Yeah.
Okay, so you just had the difference between the
Yes.
893, okay, I got you, okay. Okay, thank you.
Are there any questions about the list of bills or financials?
None for me. Do we need a motion to approve the financials, or are we good?
Oh, I think we
That
just
would
got
do all good.
Okay.
to.
I don't.
Monthly staff report?
The Housing Authority received our annual, what's called FI score, which is Public Housing Assessment System score. It's how HUD grades the Housing Authority on our performance on varying categories. Those 4 categories being our capital fund utilization, our overall management, our financial status, and the physical status of our units. And in those 4 categories, you get a score, total score of 100 points. We scored an 81 out of 100 for this last fiscal year we completed. What that basically means is we're effectively a B student. That is an improvement. We've consistently gotten better since 2011, where we were listed as a substandard performer, where we had 61 points. In 2012, we had 72. This year, we're at 81. We are hoping and expecting to have a similar improvement when we're scored for the next year. So I imagine that would be kind of good for my continued employment. But it is something that we look forward to doing. One of the things about that scoring system is once you reach 90 points, you're considered a high-performing housing authority. And that's a very important designation for any housing authority because that gives you additional dollars to work with and it gives you additional flexibility to work with. So those are 2 things that, considering how some of the cutbacks are affecting the agency, those 2 things happening at the same time will be very big as far as our ability to kind of move forward with some of the plans that we have as an agency.
So do you get 25 points for each of those categories, or is it?
It's a little bit different. You would think it would be that simple, but it's not. You get 10 points for your capital fund. You get 25 points for your financial indicator. I think you get 40 points for your physical indicator, and the rest go for your management. I'll actually have to get the board the actual breakdown. I'm not sure exactly what the individual numbers are.
And where were we strong and where were we weak?
We were very strong in the capital fund, very strong in the financial score. Financial score, we actually had 24 out of 25 points. So, I mean, we're and that's kind of, you can kind of see that in the way our financials work. We operate at a profit. Even when we had the HUD shutdown, we had enough money for several months of operations and normal operations. So financially, we're very comfortable. I think the areas where we still need to improve, and we've made considerable strides to get better, but there's still a few more steps we need to take, are in the physical score and in the management score. Management mainly was related to our occupancy, and physical, I think, mainly relates to some little exterior things that we need to do building wide. They're just more expensive repairs that we need to make. Okay, sorry, there's more. The CMAP score, we're very, very proud to announce, and I'm glad that Sue actually got to be here today. Our CMAP score is the same thing for our Section 8 program. And the CMAP score, we received a full 100 out of 100 points. So that's something, that goes to show the quality of the management that we have with the Section 8 program. Of course, we're never satisfied. We're always looking for ways to get better, trying to improve ourselves, become more efficient. But I think, and it goes out saying that, Sue and her staff have done an excellent job to have earned a perfect score on the CMAP indicator.
Good. Congratulations.
Nice, yeah,
Yes.
great job.
Well done.
And what are the drivers of that? I mean, what make AHA and the efforts we're doing there good?
Actually, let you answer.
Well, a couple months ago, Keith brought the binder over and said, if anyone would like to go through this, and it was like this thick and no one wanted to go through it. That had all the information, all the indicators. I think there's 16 indicators, and they have to do with your timely inspections, your rent recertifications done on time, the file audits, the quality control. And you get so many points for each indicator, and so we had the right amount of points for each one.
We're buttoned up.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's effectively the very similar process to the public housing system, except that it's based on, we don't have any control over the physical condition of the properties, but we are responsible for the inspection. So, one of the things they check to make sure that we've done the inspections in a timely manner. If there were things that were outstanding, that we would re-inspect them also in a timely manner. So it's very similar things, just to make sure that our management is up to date, that our files are full of the proper information, it's all documented and in order the proper way, that everything is communicated properly, so that when we have any information needs to go to a tenant, the AHA, or from the AHA to a landlord, everything is happening in a timely manner.
Are inspections different than the city inspections?
They are a little bit, and we are actually working with the city, working with Jim Pilmer's group to kind of unify the 2 processes, mainly because, and as he's noted to me, and I'm sure we've kind of said the same things, that he gets complaints sometimes because the landlords are dealing with 2 inspections, and sometimes they're not sure why. Residents feel the same way. Why is somebody else coming in to looking over the same stuff that the housing authority just looked at or that the city just looked at? The difference is that we look at maybe the same things for different reasons, and we look at them in different ways. So it's a process that even though we are kind of covering the same thing sometimes, the point of views are a little different. What we want to do is try and find a way that we can kind of merge the two, so that we either help with some of those, or the city, just whoever's there first basically covers both inspections.
And I think if I can interrupt, the city, will give a landlord a good score, and they don't have to go every year if that unit is, where right now we have to go once a year.
Yeah.
So, but I think they were working on changing that in the future.
As we discussed, the logo is pretty much final. They're just doing some final refinements to make it all squared away and ready for professional use, but it'll be a high quality logo. As we discussed on Monday, it is the building block design. That design is really, it's kind of the building block of even our entire rebranding effort. It's supposed to signify housing as a building block of financial and family stability. I think, one of the first things people try to take care of is make sure there's a roof over their head. Even if, the lights aren't on or the gas isn't on, you have the roof. So that's kind of the first building block to family stability. And we want that to kind of be the ongoing message that we get out to the community, to everybody, that the Housing Authority is here to provide a building block by which people can continue to better themselves, better their families, and better their situations. We are again working on a website. I actually have just got first draft of some of the smaller pages, the mobile website, the tablet page, and we showed the board the main website page. A lot of that will come together probably in January or February as we identify what information we want out, what order we want it in. But we are moving along with that. Hopefully by the same time that we roll out the new office in the spring, we'd like to kind of push the entire rebranding effort all at one time. So we'll have a new logo, new website, new office, so kind of all these things kind of tie together and come out at the same time. And the only other thing I have is that we have final blueprints for our office. So we are now just doing the permit approvals with the city. Once we have those, we'll start final construction or major construction on the property. Carlos believes that'll take about 3 months to do, depending on weather and some of the other factors, just getting supplies in and out. But we look to be moving along. We think things are going to be, I think that once we finish, we will have a very premier office space, and we will have the ability potentially to really begin the rebranding of the image of that particular area. I know everybody still kind of thinks of it as Jericho Circle, and we want to really change the way people see that area of town. So one of the things we're working on with the city is potentially renaming the street, at least our portion of the street. It's not necessarily a major public street, so it should be fairly easy to rename if they're willing to help us out on that. But so that's a big push. I know we've been kind of talking about it for a while, so we'll be excited now to start to have actual activity that people can see, that we really are taking steps forward on that property, that we're not kind of going back the way that we had been before. Are there any questions for me?
I don't. Just a question. Just as you get more into the marketing and kind of relaunching this website and everything, one of the things you just see more and more of is companies relaunch their websites. They use videos as opposed to having a bunch of text for people to read. Everyone wants to click and view the video.
Actually, and it goes kind of to, we have the YouTube set up now. We have the Twitter and Facebook. So we're starting to build the social media aspect. One of the things, we're actually going to steal a little bit, I'm going to admit this, we're stealing it a bit from the Rockford Housing Authority. On their website, yeah, I know. But they have on their website, and it was an idea that actually Commissioner Richard, we discussed briefly, of highlighting the success stories that come and continually highlighting those success stories. So one of the things we want to have is an actual video section of the page. Even if it's when you first come to the page, you have an actual video of people who have been successful, come through public housing and have this success story to talk about how housing helped their family, how it was a positive, so that people get the impression that it's not always this negative that they hear about the Housing Authority, but that there are positive. So we do actually want to have a very large video section. I will try to avoid keeping myself on the video, but we definitely want to take advantage of what's available, and definitely there's technology that allows us to have video on the websites. We actually, the possibility, and we're discussing, I don't know how much, we're wondering about the bandwidth limitations, but if it's possible, live streaming of this meeting on the website. So we're just a lot of different functionalities that we're trying to work in. And the problem always is, A, do we really want to spend all the money for it? And then B, is it really going to, be used and utilized? We don't want to have it for the sake of having it. It has to actually kind of build into what we're trying to do.
Yeah, and I guess my reaction would be like spending money to stream a video that very few people would watch live. Would probably be better just to continue doing it like you're doing it now on YouTube. But I like where you're going with the success stories and market. You can't rely on the beacon to market. I mean, they don't. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's not.
You know what I'm saying? But we have to
job,
market ourselves and tell about our kids that are going to college and about people that are coming through the Ross program and getting jobs and things like that.
So we'll one of the things we did discuss, and it's part of the strategic plan, we'll probably start looking at that a lot more after the beginning of the year, is a real, we talk about hiring a marketing firm. The group that we have, they do a lot of the design work, but they don't really do the actual marketing of things, getting out and getting the word out. So we'll probably at some point in time actually have to really look at, and it's part of the strategic plan, having a firm to kind of partner with that really is qualified to do rebrandings and do marketing efforts so that we are getting the word out.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions? If no, Maria?
Okay, first set of numbers that you'll see there is our public housing waiting list numbers. All of the applications for the 3 and the 5 bedrooms have been completely entered. There was, I believe Commissioner Boris made a mention on Monday of those 1 and 2 bedrooms getting a little lower, so we have been in talks of possibly reopening the waiting list for those. That's still in the works though, and we'll keep you updated on that. We have the ready to house pool numbers, so those are the units that the applicants that have gone through the application process, they are ready as soon as the unit is available for them. You have the notices that have been served and referred to the attorneys. We didn't have any evictions, and we had a total of 4 move-ins, 3 of this at the single sites, and I do apologize, there is one other one at the family sites that I did not include on the report. We continue to work with some of the partner agencies out there, ATMI, MSI, a staffing agency to provide jobs opportunities for residents and anyone that's interested. The one is even willing to do transportation to select job sites. So working with the Ross manager, they will be keeping track of any residents who are employed through any of those agencies. And then down at the bottom, you'll see a list of a couple different activities going on. The bigger ones, Maine Baptist to deliver baskets for Thanksgiving to the family sites. They're also sponsoring Christmas dinner gifts for Eastwood and Indian Knoll sites. And then St. Olaf will be sponsoring the children and the families over at Southwind.
One thing I did want to,
Question?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, one thing I just did want to, I know we had a discussion on Monday about the calculation error in the form. So that's the sheet that you all have in front of you.
Right.
Just correct that, so you do see the 4 transfers there. If there are no questions, Jim?
Well, at the end of the year, we always try to kind of wrap up any projects or anything that we got going. So guys are working extremely hard. Turn around the vacancies, I think this month we did about 12, I believe. We're not done yet, so. And just keeping up with the work orders and stuff like that. This year, we saw a lot of improvements, made a lot of adjustments, and I think, not only better the agency, but also improve the conditions of our residents, give them a better place they can call home, like our upgrades over at our scattered sites. And one thing about, when I say upgrades, the material and the workmanship we did before was still high quality, but it was more commercial. What we're doing now is bringing in more of a residential look, so it gives them more of a homey look. We also were able to purchase some furnaces and some air conditioners from the grants that Carlos has submitted, which also it just gives them a better comfort level, because I think we all grew up with no air conditioning, so we know what it's like and stuff. And it actually gives a better outlook for the residents too, as far as that's going and stuff. And we also had a vendor come out that we actually purchased furnaces from, to come out and give guys some training on reading schematics and just kind of troubleshooting. We also did some remodeling of the offices this year. We assigned a maintenance guy to each side, which seems to be working real well. Like I said before, one thing that was never really on scores and stuff is the way the staff really intermingles with the residents stuff. We everything from, delivering furniture to working with the food pantry to, working side by side with the community, doing some community service and stuff like that. So, it came like very apparent when we did have the fire and stuff like that. Everybody, put down the tile, put down whatever, and we just worked side by side, not just staff, but also the residents really pitched in and helped one another. Even we're able to, help with the fire department, pointing to where to go and who to look for and stuff like that. So that's just a tribute to Mr. Gerber and stuff, is that that's something that he enforces, that, it's not just about, people that we actually do care about them, we've formed some bonds through the course of the year. And most of our maintenance staff's been here for over 10 years, so we've really gotten to know a lot of people, and people, get comfortable and they feel, they can trust us, which is something that we take a lot of pride in. We also did receive a couple more new F-150 trucks, and I think we're waiting on 2 vans. One will be the night call van, which will be stocked with supplies and stuff. Maple Terrace, we did the rough inspection was finalized. We're still waiting on the inspection for the hallways. And just like I said before, we appreciate the support, because a lot of work that we do and the things that changes wouldn't happen if we didn't have you guys' support. And on behalf of the staff, we would just like to wish you guys all happy holidays.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
Back at you.
Since we have some time, a question. When I was working, we had different departments, like, I was in computers and they had other people working, if I remember, which is, the plumbing and the heating and all. Where's David working at? The new hiree?
Usually when we hire someone, we have them working with one of the maintenance 2 guys. They started as a maintenance 1, so he actually worked over at, I can't remember this, one of the elderly buildings, I think where the old St. Joe's building used to be, I can't remember the name of it. So he's very familiar with the
So
maintenance.
just like general maintenance?
Yeah, pretty much so. And what we do is usually he'll work with one of the maintenance 2 guys, or he'll work with the lead guy. I try to get him with different guys, so this way each one has a better expertise in what they do and stuff like that. So he works with them side by side. He'll go in a vacant unit, and what we do is we have an actual checklist. So as he does, like say, we'll take him in a unit and we have to replace the toilet, there'll be a maintenance 2 there doing other stuff, but kind of keep an eye on it to make sure the procedure's done and stuff like that. And usually it depends on the work skill and stuff like that. Once we feel that he's comfortable, then we will promote him to maintenance 2.
Okay, thank you.
We don't, oddly enough, you kind of picture the agency as a large entity. It seems to work better when you have more generalized positions, especially in the maintenance trades, where some agencies have like you said, very specialized skill set groups, and that becomes a challenge in management, especially when you've got guys whose job is light fixtures, who see an oven that needs fixed, say, hey, look, that's the oven.
Not my job.
Yeah, right. And we don't, the fortunate thing is our staff isn't like that at all.
Okay.
They're great in the fact that they're all general tradesmen, and if they see something wrong, they fix it. And if they get to a point where they can't fix it, they get somebody else in who can.
This one?
Any other questions?
Any new business?
There is none.
There's none. Redevelopment issues, approval,
Not at this time.
any questions?
I have none.
Just like I think I just kind of want to double back on what Jimmy said. You know, obviously, as a staff, we are all very appreciative to have the opportunity to work for the AHA, and we appreciate the support and backing of our board. So we wish you all a Merry Christmas and look forward to 2014 being exciting, but in better ways.
And I would like to say I appreciate the commissioners and the staff and Mr. Gregory. I appreciate you.
No, thank you.
So Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas
Happy New Year.
to everybody. Have a safe Christmas.
And may I have a motion?
I'm sorry?
I
Say
so
something.
move.
Oh. I thought he was voting.
Can I make a comment?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
I just, you know, it's been a hill of a year with the Housing Authority. But I think, you know, with the new director, and, you know, I'd just like to say to Jim that he always has something positive to say, you know, about the residents and about being better, more active in the community. So I wanted to say that, but it's been a good year overall with the Housing Authority, the ups and downs, but you guys are still here. So keep up the good work.
Yes.
Kids better.
Thank you.
We have a motion. We need a
Take
second.
your motion to second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. This meeting is adjourned.
Merry Christmas.
Aye, Merry
Yes,
Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Next we have a special call meeting. This is it.
No, that's
We
no
don't have
special
no.
meeting.
Your Monday.
Everything can wait until